Women's Speakers Association is less than 1 month away from the launch of our 7th edition of Voices of the 21st Century. The theme for this year's book is Women Empowered Through Passion and Purpose. And we have 3 passionate and purposeful women here from Bermuda who have contributed their stories in this book. And I have them here today to share about their journey as a voice of the 21st century. So let's say hi to them. Hi, Margaret.
Hi, Laura. Thank you for having us. I am so honored to be here. My name is Margaret Swift Thompson. I am a family addiction specialist, and I have joined Voices of the 21st Century for the first time. I'm thrilled to be a part of this and thrilled to be with my fellow authors, especially my 2 Bermudian friends. And I am writing about, the chapter title is I Didn't Know What I Didn't Know. And you can find me on embracefamilyrecovery.com.
Great to have you here. Thank you. And Andrea, let's learn about you.
Hi, Laura. Thank you. My name's Andrea Tompkins, and I'm an integral master coach and a recovery speaker. This is my 2nd time on Voices of the 21st Century, and my title of my book is Let It Begin With Me, my chapter, sorry. You can find me on AndreaTompkins.com.
And maybe you'll have a book called that too in the future. I love that. And Lorene, how are you? Welcome.
I'm great. I'm absolutely great. And it's just wonderful to be here with my fellow Bermudians. Hi, everyone. I'm Lorene Phillips, and I'm an executive development coach and corporate consultant. And I am excited to have a chapter in this wonderful book called Taking Risks, Unleashing Resilience and Growth. And you can reach me on clarendonwallace.com.
Wonderful. Oh, I'm already inspired, and you haven't even told me what inspired you to join the book, and that's where I want to go next. So, Margaret, share with us your story. How did you come to this book, and what inspired you to actually say yes to being a contributing author?
I've had a dream to write. I've always been fearful of doing it, and I did find it highly vulnerable to write a chapter versus speak my story. And I would say what was the introduction to doing it was meeting yourself and Gail. And then, of course, I have to give a shout out to Andrea, who wrote in the last book, and Michelle, our fellow Bermudian, who wrote in the one before. No, the same one, last one. So there's some Bermudians who've led the way. Let's put it that way. So that inspired me as well.
Wonderful. So good to have you here. Is there anything about your message that you felt compelled to share?
Yes, I would say one of the things that I feel is so important, coming from a small community on a small island, I found it hard growing up to be honest about tough stuff. And so what better platform than a book where I'm with fellow women who've taken risks on different levels, sharing different parts of their story, and being able to say, you know what, my vulnerability and getting to know myself and my authenticity, all of me is valuable, and to be okay with putting my voice out there. So it's about encouraging people to find their voice and their incredible power of resilience and tenacity to survive things they do in their life.
Oh, that is inspiring. And we need those role models. And thank you for being one.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Andrea, why don't you share with us? This is your 2nd time. So, share the difference between the first and the 2nd time. What inspired you to come back and be a 2nd time best-selling author with Voices of the 21st Century?
Thanks, Laura. The first time was definitely a little more daunting than the 2nd time. As Margaret shared, coming from a small community, to put yourself out there and be vulnerable in the public eye was brand new for me. So that was a very big step, and I really felt transformed through that process. And that was the title of the book last year. And so it was really a transforming process for me. And so I had also always felt like I had something to share with anybody who wanted to listen, with the world. And so when I was speaking to Gail and I felt I wanted to share more, it just felt natural to take the next step and write another chapter in the next book. It was such a great experience.
I love that because, last year's book was Women Transforming the World, and you transformed through that process. And this year we have Women Empowered Through Passion and Purpose. So you were able to tap into that passion and purpose and now share that. And I think there's a really lovely thread that happens with authors that are multiple times because you kind of see the evolutions of the stories. You're like, oh, I want to read Andrea's story now. I read it last year, and what's her story going to be this year? So thank you for continuing the thread with us. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Lorene, I would love to hear your story about what inspired you to join this book and then write the chapter you chose.
I've been reflecting on that pretty much all day to think what exactly got me at this point. And really it was a decision. I had written a book before, but I did it on my own, and it was a very different journey. This time around, or I should say this time around in my life, there are two things I want to do better at. I want to have more fun, and I want to have a sense of community. And so being able to be a part of this project and have a community of other women, and it's not just writing, it's getting to know these women as well and to hear their stories, because stories are so powerful, was definitely aligned with where I am and where I want to take my life and even my clients, is empowering them by creating a sense of community and making sure that we have fun along the way. So I chose this topic around taking risk, because I think so often, especially as women, we can be timid, afraid, ask ourselves way too many questions, a little bit of a perfectionist, and I can go on and on and on. And I just want to say, just jump in and do it, and just see what happens, see what is possible.
Awesome. And I love the fact you bring up community. Two things about that. First of all, if it is a daunting experience, like a lot of you said, as that, but when you do it in community, the fear just kind of melts away. We absorb that as a community. And the other thing about this, Lorene, is that you actually have two communities. You have your Bermuda women community.
A new community for me, I might say, because I was working away for a few years, got back to Bermuda, and right into the pandemic. So I felt very disconnected when I returned home. And so now I have two new friends that I can call friends, author friends. And we met in person just before the holidays. And it was so wonderful to connect the faces and just to spend time together. There's something about that human connection. So for us here in Bermuda, yes, we are a small island. We don't bump into everyone all the time. We don't know everyone. And so this project has allowed us to come out of our own individual circles, so to speak, and really connect with others. And that's been a beautiful part of, or an extension of something I did not expect.
How lovely. And then you also have the larger community of all the 45 women authors of this book. And we, of course, meet on Facebook on a regular basis to support each other, to work towards the bestseller process and beyond, because each of you get your own book customized with your name and your photo on it, which is a very powerful tool for you to then go build your business with your own book that has its bestseller sticker on it and everything. So you all are inspiring. So I wanted to know how this process of being a co-author has impacted you, either personally, professionally, or both. So Margaret, why don't you let us know, give us a peek inside of that.
Sure. I would say, Laura, the confidence it's given me to take that step into writing. And I need to shout out to not only my fellow Bermudian authors, but the whole organization, Women's Speakers Association, and yourself and the organizers have done a beautiful job of walking us through the entire process, from writing to editing to tips to publishing and selling. And it's been phenomenal. And I have no experience to compare it to, but I feel like it is an incredibly well-oiled experience. You've done it, you know how to do it, you know how to teach us to do it. And I thank you for that, because it gives me the confidence to consider doing more writing one day. And that was wonderful. I think the other piece was getting back to being with women. It's a tough time in our world for women on many levels, but it's also an exciting time. And to be amongst other women, both within my home origin of Bermuda, but around the world, who are their voices are powerful. Their stories are individual, and it's just inspiring. It's wonderful to be a part of something that is so positive, so uplifting, and so empowering. And so it's been beautiful. I'm no regret whatsoever.
Well, thank you for being a part of it and being a part of the community, because every person matters and your contribution is equally valuable. And your messages, and I love how you say it may inspire you to write more, but I also get the sense that it empowers you to write, speak, and grow your message more in all kinds of ways. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I mean, I usually don't have trouble speaking, Laura, so that's not so hard for me, but I definitely have had to challenge to write. And, we could go where that is and what that starts from in those messages we received when we were maybe in grammar school. But the reality is Gail said it beautifully when I chatted with her about this. Every person's voice matters. Every story reaches someone else. And I'm just inspired to be a part of that and to receive the messages I will from reading everybody's stories.
Wonderful. So, Andrea, I wanted to dive a little bit deeper into how the process of being a co-author, especially the first time around and now the second time around, has impacted you personally and professionally.
Thank you. The confidence and the self-empowerment that I have gained over the 2 years that I've been involved with this association is just beyond what I could have imagined. I first embarked on it with just a little glimmer of hope that I might be able to share something with somebody out there. And the feedback that I received, the engagement that I had from the Bermudian community and others, outside of Bermuda was surprising. It was heartwarming. And it gave me the confidence to know that, my voice does matter and that I can share that with the other people who approached me that said, well, maybe I can too. And yes, I can. And so then I was even more empowered by myself, which is what my chapter is about, being empowered by my own passion and purpose from within. And so proud to be able to share that message, as I step out into my second venture in this awesome experience.
Would you say the outreach, it sounded like it was unexpected that people were like, oh, I'm inspired by you. Was there any other types of things that happened that surprised you in terms of what people's response was, more specifically?
I just think the acceptance and the heartwarming engagement, and not just my family, right? I didn't expect anybody to support me, but I kind of was confident my family would support me. But then when it reaches out past your family and strangers, and you're having these engaging conversations, and just being able to see the reach of just my one voice, and then knowing that wherever my book goes, wherever our book goes, my chapter is going too. So all over the world, to these countries. And if one person hears my story and is inspired, then it's worth putting myself out there. And at the edge of my comfort zone is where I grow, right? So it's wonderful.
Fabulous. I'm inspired by that too. So I love that, this, it oozes positive energy for people. And it kind of is in a way that's fully supported. It's less scary than trying to do it on your own with a huge investment, a limited knowledge and know-how. You've got the knowledge, the know-how, the team behind you, and you can just work through your fear. That's your, and get support and just follow the step-by-step that we have. And then boom, you're getting this great feedback, right? And it's all positive. I love that.
And that moment when that book lands at Bermuda post office, and I'll never forget that experience of holding that book in my hand and sharing that, live online and with my family and friends. It's an experience you can't really describe. So I'm looking forward to my new friends experiencing that, and all these authors with this new book.
Yay. Bravo. Lorene, I want to hear from you about how has being an author impacted you, and going through the process that we put together here at the Voices of the 21st Century book author group?
I would say, as I said earlier, I'd written one book before on my own, so I have something to compare it against. And this route is much easier, and I'm all for taking the easier route. You really, as Margaret said earlier, you have this unlock, the process, what to do, what not to do. From the beginning, I really felt that we were being set up to succeed. And so that really allowed me to just relax and just really focus on what I'm writing, as opposed to all the other noise that would be a distractor or would discourage me. All that was taken care of. And so that process really allowed you a safe environment to come out. If you're an introvert, or you're afraid, or you're timid, this is a great way to step into writing, because you have the support around you. And then, as I mentioned earlier, you have the community. Margaret mentioned Michelle earlier, who is the one that put me onto this group, because I had no idea this group existed. So again, this is really, and hopefully, as anyone is listening here, it's all about sharing that information with somebody else, right? If you don't know, right, Margaret, you don't know. So now you know that WSA is here. And if you've always been wondering about writing a book or telling a story, then there's a platform that is here that can make it much easier and fun for you to do.
There's something for you that you think wouldn't have happened if you didn't join the book as a co-author?
That would not have happened. Yeah, I wouldn't be sitting here. I would not have. Just thinking about what I wanted to write about, believe it or not, was an exercise in and of itself. And it's kind of like, if your kids are leaving home or someone's flying, that last word that you say, and that's what I said to myself. What would be my last words that I would like to say to someone if I never get another chance? Those last words are most important. And when I did that, it became very clear that I really wanted individuals, women in particular, to understand their own agency and their own the power that they carry, and that we can do so much more when we dare ourselves to do that thing that we're most afraid of, like writing this book. And so that really allowed me to cast my mind back to, where did I get that kind of bravado from? Was I always like that? Where did this come from? And just that journey of reflection, you have to read the chapter to find out. But I realized it didn't come from me. It came from another woman. And so me being able to tell that story, hopefully, will become that next woman's story, and then next woman, and then next woman's.
I love it. It is totally inspiring. So you may have covered this, ladies, but what I would like to have you say something new, or even repeat if it's really that important. What would you like other women in Bermuda in particular to know about saying yes to being an author and potentially being a voice of the 21st century with us here at Women Speakers Association? Margaret?
Take a chance, take a risk. I love Bermuda. There is nowhere like Bermuda. And I also know we have challenges in Bermuda. And I think that to find our voice, whether it be a deeply personal one or a professional development one or whatever it is, to honor each other in being authentic and genuine and taking that risk, and do it in such a supportive community where I now have two new friends, two friends I will be connected to for the rest of my life through just writing this. And to know that there is a support network within Bermuda that empowers one another and that does lift each other up. And it follows through the whole process. I've never once thought I shouldn't do this, because I've always been met with respect, dignity, and uplifting and encouragement along this journey. And I think that's wonderful. And when we had lunch in Bermuda together, it was just a reinforcement of that, we don't bump into each other everywhere we go. We don't know everybody, but we can have a connection that is special and meaningful. So I encourage people to take the chance, do it.
Yes, say yes.
Yeah.
And there are more than 3 voices of the 21st century Bermudian women. So you are the current 3. Andrea, tell us what you would like other women in Bermuda to know about saying yes to be an author.
I would like to say that you can do it, and that there's somebody out there who wants to hear what you have to say. And being supported in this beautiful way by the Women Speakers Association, there's nothing to fear, and that, together we can support each other and go on this journey. I don't know that this will be my last chapter, so maybe we can do it together next year.
Yeah, and for all those Bermudian women who are going to come on, you'll get to stay connected to. The authors, are all in the group, but the authors who are in the book are really cohesive. So it's really beautiful to stay in the group, connected as an author, current author. And Lorene, what would you like other women in Bermuda to know about being an author and a voice of the 21st century?
We have a lot to say. We have a lot of stories that people need to hear. People need to hear our stories. And because we're in a small community, does not mean that everybody knows us, right? I think we're very good at putting on whatever that veneer is that we want others to see. And this platform has allowed, to Margaret's point, a very authentic way to share our deepest secrets so that we can truly impact people's lives. And so what I'm hoping that we will accomplish as a group here in Bermuda is starting an opportunity for others to see that telling your true story is the way that you can create changes in the 21st centuries. And it's fun. Like I said earlier, honestly, it is fun. It is collaborative. Women can work together and have fun and succeed.
Amen.
Okay, we can do it, and we're able to demonstrate.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I love that you're bringing that to the forefront, that the collaborations we have had, half a dozen plus years of working collaboratively. And by the way, today, January 11th, 2024 is Women Speakers Association's 13th birthday anniversary. So yes, everybody here, let me put you all on screen. And let's all clap for that. Yay! Yay! Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. Yeah.
And
Congratulations.
Happy anniversary from our Bermudian women. And I want to say that I feel closer to Bermuda now, right? You've brought me in. And so I love what you said, Lorene, about we have a voice. The women in Bermuda have a voice. They have something to say. And when you do say it on a global platform, you bring Bermuda to the world and Bermuda's women to the world. And you let us know how powerful you are and that you're a point of note in the world. So I want to invite and encourage women out there, especially Bermudian women, to visit voicesofthe21stcentury.com and fill in the form to find out more about how your voice, if your voice, should be a part of our community. And your voice does matter. It's a choice. So join us in elevating women's voices, because every woman who steps up and does that is elevating not only her own voice, but the voice of all women, because we're coming together and saying, yes, we're powerful. Again, that's voicesofthe21stcentury.com. And as always, lovely to have you here, Margaret and Andrea and Lorene. Thank you for your huge contributions. I am looking forward to diving into your stories as we release the book on February 6, 2024. Please join us at Women Speakers Association for that launch, and on Facebook in particular. We'll be going live, and LinkedIn as well, and YouTube. So we will see you on February 6th. The ebook will be on sale for 99 cents, and we will invite you to join us with our bestseller campaign to help get us there and elevate all voices of the 21st century here. Thank you, ladies. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye-bye.